Hey everyone, it's Robin. Welcome to my desk. Thought that I would share a few new pens that I've acquired in the past week or so, and some ink samples and ink bottles that I ordered this past week, so that you can see some of the colors. Maybe you're interested in getting some of these ink colors yourself and you'd like to see what they look like. So I thought I'd share that with you. Start with the pens first, I guess. There was a seller on a Facebook fountain pen group that was selling a bunch of Franklin Christoph pens. And I thought about it. I'd owned a Franklin Christoph a long time ago. I forget what the name of the pen that I had was, but it was a really long acrylic pen. And then I had the short one too, Stabilo maybe. I'm not sure. I'm quite sure that I'm saying that incorrectly, but I had those and I didn't care for them because they didn't have a clip on the end of them. So they were very rolly, and I don't know, they just didn't do it for me. So that was years ago, and I sold them, and I haven't had my radar on Franklin Christoph for some time. And then this post came up and I decided it was a deal for the pens, and I got a better deal because I purchased two of the pens from her. So I decided that I'd give them a try. I really was interested in this one, and then she said that this particular one in the lot was a discontinued combination. So I'd been looking at eyedropper pens that were all transparent, and I thought that perhaps this would fit that itch that I was having. So I purchased the two of them together. And then this pen popped up on eBay, and I've been searching for BENU for a while. I hear such amazing things about the BENU pen and the Schmidt nib, and none of the BENU color combinations are really anything that has been speaking to me that I can find anyways on retail sites. So when this one popped up on eBay for a pretty good price, I decided that this one could be my first try at a BENU and at a Schmidt nib, and I would purchase it, see what I thought of it, and then move forward with BENU from there. So out of these pens, this one is 100% my favorite. It is a model 31 in black. It is still available on Franklin Christoph's website in a variety of different colors. There's just something about I'm going to identify it perhaps as the length of this grip section that I prefer over this other Franklin Christoph pen. The length of the pen, they're similar. The one with the clear or the antique glass section cut out is perhaps maybe a little bit lighter. This pen is definitely one that's going to stay in my collection. This pen is likely going to be looking for a new home. I'll continue to try it for just a little while longer. The nib sizes on the two are different. You can see, I think that this is a number 6 nib and this one is likely a number 5 nib. Neither of them are the Franklin Christoph SIG nibs, SIG nibs. So I don't know. This pen is beautiful. It writes beautifully, smooth, buttery. It's just got the right appearance, the right weight, the right size. So this one is definitely a keeper. This one, like I said, I will probably be seeking a new home, somebody that will love it. And then this BENU, you guys, this one is a discontinued BENU model. It is called the Tessera. I'm not sure how to say that either. It's got this interesting surface to it. My understanding from reading about it and the few places that I could find information is that the design of this pen is meant to mimic the glass windows. I don't know. I'm gonna get slammed for this one because I read it quite a while ago, but the pattern on the body of this pen is supposed to look like whatever the pen is named for. Let's just put it like that, and you guys can add in the comments and school me or remind me what that is. I like this pen, but it was pre-loved, and I'm wondering if that impacted the nib. The nib likely needs to be tuned a bit. It is a gorgeous number 6 nib. It has a potential of being a really smooth writer, but I'm not loving this pen. Maybe it's the colors, maybe it's the pen itself, maybe it's the nib needing to be tuned. I'm not quite certain. So I'm thinking that this BENU is likely going to be looking for a new home also, someplace on down the line. So those are my most recent pen acquisitions, and likely this will be the one that remains in my fountain pen collection. So there's that. So I'll put those off to the side. And then I know I see a lot of people doing ink swatching videos, and I had ordered a bunch of ink samples and a few bottles of ink, and I thought about doing a video where I was swatching the ink colors on the paper and doing the whole process. But when I watch those videos, although they're very relaxing to watch, I very much enjoy them. I find myself fast forwarding to see the dried results on paper. So I thought that rather than watching the process, because I think everybody knows how to swatch inks, or likely knows how to swatch inks, I thought that I would just share what the end results were. So I've got little tabs here if you want to pause the video to check out the names or anything. I have the Hobonichi Weeks paper. It's Tomoe River 52 GSM in, I'm guessing, a cream color. Although I guess for having owned the Hobonichi Weeks for many years, I don't know that I have definitive what color that paper is, but so I just called it the Weeks paper, and hoping that you all are familiar with that. And then the other one is loose leaf Tomoe River 52 GSM paper. It is from a pack of paper that I purchased some time ago on Jet Pens. I don't believe that this is any longer available because the company stopped making the paper, but that's what the other squares are cut from. So without any further ado, here are my ink samples that I ordered. I am not a fan of yellow ink. And on this particular ink was ordered from Pen Chalet, and on their website it looked definitely more leaning orange on the screen. And that's, I guess, a risk with ordering ink online. And one of the nice things about seeing it on YouTube is that their pictures or your computer screen or a combination of the both might not be entirely truthful for what you're going to get. So I do like this yellow as far as yellow goes, but it's definitely something that I'm very grateful that I only ordered a sample, because I do not write with yellow ink. I want to love it, but I don't. So there's that one, Wearingeul. I am definitely finding, I wonder if I can make this just a little bit bigger for you. I am finding that my ink preferences are leaning definitely towards a few of the ink makers brands, and Wearingeul is definitely one of them that I am finding myself in love with again and again. So here is, and I'm not going to try to pronounce the name, I'm going to let you read it. Kyeong-hee, maybe? I say I'm not going to pronounce it, and then I do. So I was on a quest for oranges, reds, and a few oddball colors. Oranges and reds was what I was mostly looking for. This is beautiful, and it fits the right note for me as far as oranges are concerned. I don't like the bright orange, and so I was looking for something a little dirtier. I'm really in a groove for looking for colors with a darkened hue to them is what I'm leaning towards. So I tried that one, and that was a sample. This was also a sample. I love Robert Oster inks. Not necessarily the one that I'm finding myself ordering again and again right at the moment, but definitely in my top ink maker, on the top of my list. So this is Antelope Canyon, and it is a Pen Chalet exclusive, and it's got that right orange note, but the thing that I don't care for about it is the sheening or shading into a dark color around a halo around the edge with a broad nib, and you can see it a little bit in the medium and fine nib also. I'll put it in a pen and give it a try, but I'm guessing that this one's not going to hit the right note for me. This one I think is interesting because you can, at least I can in person, see the difference between the color on the white versus the Weeks paper. This one was a winner. This is Dominant Industries Earl Grey Tea, and Dominant Industry is one of my top ink makers at the moment, along with Wearingeul. This one I love. It's got just a little bit of the halo on it. It's a deep saturated orange color, maybe orangey brown. So I did order a bottle of this. A few sites that I was looking at had sold out of it, and I decided to take the risk of ordering a bottle rather than a sample, and I'm really glad that I did. I think that this one's beautiful. All right, then we move into the reds, and you wouldn't know it by looking at this first choice. This one was a sale price for ink, so I did get a little bottle of it. The bottle was very reasonable compared to the sample size. Monteverde Love. A red, I was going for red, and this one is definitely a red-orange color. It's really hard to find some colors that don't have the sheen or the halo to them. I'm really not a fan of that. So when I see that halo or sheen around the writing pieces for this, it really, I don't care for it as much. So here's a great example. I'll put this one a little bit closer. I'm hoping that you can see the sheen with this one. It's beautiful. The red color is very beautiful, but I do not care for the green sheen with Van Dieman's Firetail Finch. So that one I'm very happy that I just have a sample of. I tried Kaweco Ruby Red. And Kaweco, I mean, maybe I need to start looking at the more, what would you say, like the pen makers inks, you know, like the Kaweco and the Lamy inks, because they definitely lean towards shaders rather than sheen. I mean, they have their sheen and shimmers for sure, but their standard line of inks definitely sit in the shading range in my experience, and you can correct me if I'm wrong with that. I like this ink. I like Kaweco inks. I have a few bottles of a few other colors, but this is not the right red for me. This leans far too pink for what I was looking for, so I'm glad that I just got a sample in that. And I did order a bottle of Wearingeul's Stonecutter's Song. I have no idea why. It is a gorgeous ink, but I already had one or two inks that hit this note for the brown, purpley brown colors, gray. It's beautiful, and I will use it. I'm gonna save my favorite for last. I'm gonna set that aside. I kind of had these in color order. I like it, but again, I need to remind myself that I do not need to, that although beautiful online, I don't need to order another one of something that I already have something like it. They're all a little bit different. They are all a different shades, different tones, different color shifts. But for my purposes, when you put the ink in a pen, this is going to look very, very similar to a few other inks that I already have. So I don't need to buy inks for their swatch. I need to buy them for what they look like coming out of a pen. Okay, so I'm looking for a blue, and I'm picky about blues, and none of these samples from VanNess Pens are going to fit the bill, but I thought that I would try some of the Iroshizuku inks because they get such marvelous reviews from people with the viscosity of the ink, and I was curious about putting that in some of my pens and seeing how it would perform. The problem with Iroshizuku blues is they all have sheen, and I don't like sheen. This one a little less than the other two that I got, but they all have that pink or red halo to them that I am just not a fan of. And so, and this one, it actually ended up being far too bright. I did put it in, I think I put it in this pen because I wanted to see if I could resolve some of the nib issues with ink with a higher viscosity in it in this pen, and it didn't really make that much of a difference. I might try this one in this pen, but I know that I'm going to struggle with the sheening on this blue. This is everybody's favorite blue. It's not my favorite blue. I need to just go back in my stash and look at some that don't have the sheening or shading. Some colors are just hard to find, just shaders. And blue seems to be one of them for the colors that I like. So I tried Peki, a little sample of that, and I'm glad that I just got samples because this is not going to do it for me. And neither is this one, Iroshizuku, and I'm not going to try to say that one because I said I'm not going to try, and so don't try, Robin. So there's that one. And then I added in a sample of Robert Oster's Soda Pop. Not sure why. Again, the heavy sheening, not my jam. So I have four blue samples that I'm glad that I just got samples of because I don't care for them. And I knew I didn't care for them, and I ordered them anyways, and I dislike that. Okay. I found a few Tomoe River notebooks, the top flip ones that you just pull the page out of, from an adorable shop in Massachusetts called Dormouse. I'll have to look that up and remind myself what the name of that shop was. But because I was ordering the notebooks, I ordered a few Wearingeul samples from them. This one is lost, and this one I think is really interesting. I guess because of the yellow tone of this paper, the shading doesn't stand out quite as much as it does in this one. You can see the yellow notes here. Not anything that you can notice in the pen writing, but in the sample you can see that yellow a little bit more on the white paper than you can on the Tomoe River. I think that's interesting. This blue and the Wearingeul's without the sheen shade, I think it's beautiful. I wouldn't order a bottle of it. I don't care for it that much. It maybe is just a little bit too light. I'm going to put it in a pen and see what I think of it. Okay, then with my sea glass green obsession, I had to try Resurrection. And I think this is another interesting one between the two paper colors. This is gorgeous, but I'm going to prevent myself from ordering a bottle of it because I already have at least 2, if not 3 other inks that fit this sea glass green note, and this one leans a little bit more blue than I would prefer. So there's that one. All right, then this one, I got to put down this other thing. I have no idea why I ordered it. It is, oh, I do know why I ordered it, because it's got the sea glass green shimmer to it. I'm not a shimmer ink person, and so I would never order a bottle of this, but I thought that it'd be fun to try a sample. So I did order, and I'm hoping that you can see a little bit of the sheen on here. It's a gray ink base with that really light teal shimmer to it. It's pretty. I don't know what it would look like on the page. I guess I will find out. And then the wild card that I ordered, and in my head I'm like, this is another ink that I see selling out all over the place. So when I saw it in a sample, I'm like, I'm gonna grab a sample of it and see what the fuss is about. And so glad that I'm just doing the samples, because although gorgeous, again, this is just not my cup of tea. This is an ink that has an amazing viscosity to it. On in my glass dip pen, in my dip pens. It was like gliding over glass writing with this ink. It's a very deep purple, aubergine almost, is the base color, turning to a black and then turning to almost a green, bronzy sheen all over the whole ink. And I thought it was interesting with these two ink samples, and this could have just been the amount, here, I'll just get rid of those, the amount of ink that I had on my paintbrush and how it laid down on the paper, but this one is almost covered entirely with the sheen, and then this one, it's more patchy. I thought that was a little interesting. So there is Wearingeul's Faust. And then the ink that I placed the order for from Pen Chalet was Krishna. This is, again, turning into one of my favorite ink makers, along with Wearingeul and Dominant Industry. The shading on Krishna inks is just amazing, in my opinion. So I had ordered from Pen Chalet the spring line bamboo shoots and what's the other one? I'll just flip in my book and look real quickly. I ordered Cassia Flora. I ordered both of those and loved them. I can't find any more anywhere. That would be one ink that I would definitely get backup bottles of if I ever stumbled across those two other colors. So I wanted to add this one to my ink collection, ink hoard, and I'm really glad that I did, because this one is really, really pretty. So those are the inks that I swatched yesterday, and I thought that I would just quickly, let's see, zoom back out again. I thought I would very quickly show you some of those same inks in my ink book. If you want to see a flip through this book a little bit more closely with some of the colors that I have acquired, please let me know and I'd be happy to do that. Here is the bamboo shoots. It's definitely a lime, but it's got some oranges in it, which makes it very beautiful on the bottom where you can see the writing. This one is just beautiful. And then here is Cassia Flora, Krishna Cassia Flora, and this one definitely is heavier with the oranges. I'm wondering, looking at different videos of this ink, if this ink does age in the bottle somewhat. Some sites that I've looked at, this one appears orange. Like even in the writing samples, it's definitely orange leaning, and this one is green leaning. And you can definitely see the difference between these two in the writing samples. Love this. It's beautiful. And then here again is one of my, like, I don't need to order a bottle of this because I have the Colorverse, and this is very beautiful. I love this one very much. This is not what I intended to show you, and I'm sorry I got waylaid by flipping. So here are the inks, the ink sample little swatches that I just showed you. Here they are on the page with a little bit more writing. Here is Earl Grey Tea, Monteverde Love. Here's the Ghat Green. Look at the shading on this. It is just beautiful. Love. I love green. Love green ink. Here is Stonecutter's Song. And then I have to go back to, I keep my sample swatches in a different spot in the book. Sorry, I should have marked that. Here is Faust. And I'll move that a little bit closer to the camera. I'm hoping that you can see a little bit of the sheen in the writing. You don't see the sheen. It's there, but the more fine the nib you have, the less you notice it. And I would say that the purple undertone of the ink is non-existent in writing. Maybe, I guess, to a very discerning eye, it's definitely not a black, but I'd say that from a distance and when you just look at it, it looks like black ink. Here is Peki, Snope, and Amairo. Too bright for me. Don't even want to try to pronounce that one. Nope. Better. This definitely is better on my eyes, but again, because of the sheening, it's a no. Here's the Half Moon with Dimmed Light by Wearingeul. Beautiful sheening, but it just looks gray in the finer nib, fine nib writing sample. Here's Lost. Isn't that pretty? Resurrection. Resurrection does lean very light in a finer nib pen. I would say if you're interested in this color, if you like broad nibs or stub nibs, that this would be a beautiful color, because when you can get a really wet writer going, this is where I re-dipped my glass pen. You can see it's really pretty darker, and then the finer nib you get the color is very light. Here is Ruby Red. It's pretty color. It's got maybe a little bit of a sheen. Here is the Firetail Finch, if anybody's interested in that one. I'm trying to get that dot. This dot has the heaviest ink on the Q-tip, and then it gets lighter towards the edge, so I'm trying to focus on that. But you can really see that green sheening on the broad. I ended up switching my order that I was writing things in because dry time, right? So yeah. Here is Antelope Canyon. Look at now this one has a sheen to it, but you don't notice it, especially in the fine nib pen. So if I were to ink up a pen with Antelope Canyon for the orange color, I would lean towards a medium fine or a fine to get what I'm looking for. This is not bad. I don't mind the darker halo around the orange color, because maybe it's close enough in family tones that it's not like a blue-red, you know? I don't know. I am strange with inks. Strange. Here is Kyeong-hee by Wearingeul. This one, although in looking for oranges, these two are very close to one another, right? A little bit more on the pumpkin orange side here, and a little bit more on, I guess, squash side for this one. They both have that brown sheening or halo effect in the broader nib pen. But this one just reads less orange to me than this one does in the finer nib. I don't know. I'm not making any sense. And then here's this one. This one's just a... it is a pretty shader. If you are looking, it shades almost an orange color in a broad nib pen. So if you're looking for... and this is, again, a glass dip pen, so you're going to see it dipped with heavier ink or wetter looking writing, and then as the ink dries up, it gets a little bit more yellow. So if you have a gusher pen and you're looking for something that's an interesting yellow, this might be one to try. I don't think that I own a... Oh, I might try this. Actually, I might try this in my Falcon, in my Pilot Falcon, which is a medium nib gusher. So I might try it and see if I could get it to look like this all the time. I think I'd be a fan, but if it leaned more towards just the yellow color, I would not be a fan. So I don't know. What do you guys think of these oranges? Like in between, where did my... I think I'm a fan of Earl Grey tea out of the three. And this again is one of the disadvantages of having these in a book, right? This is definitely a brighter orange, but it's deep enough that it's really pretty. Okay, enough. This video is getting long. I hope you enjoyed looking at some of these color swatches. I'm just going to throw that back up there again because I love it so much. What are the ink brands that you're kind of gravitating towards? Are you a Colorverse fan? Are you Ferris wheel press person? Or are you like me that you just shop around for colors that are interesting without much regard to ink brand? I know that Iroshizuku, although everybody loves it, it's not my ink company to shop from. I want to like it, but every time I try, and I have a few bottles, every time I try, it ends up being something that is not it's not my jam. So, I'd love to hear from you what you're loving right now. If you have one of those odd ink brands that you've been trying, like Vinta, and you have some experience with that, and you think that that's something worthy of trying, please let me know, and I will see you again soon. Bye.